Would like to speak?
Oh, on the 5-minute rule.
Yes. So, Councilor Pope's question was 5-minute rule. Are we following that? And yes, that's the maximum amount of time. And then we'll go through, everybody has a chance once, and then if people want to speak again, then we'll do that. Mr. Osgood?
Joe Osgood, Ward 2. We just had a nice work session on an overview of how the abatement process works. But we haven't even started on what my question was last week, and that's the Topstone building. I was on 2 charter commissions. We were advised by attorneys when I was on them charter commissions that the charter cannot overrule state law. Section 7616 clearly states that upon receipt of an application under paragraph 1, the selectman, which in this case would be the council or the assessor, shall review the application and shall grant for good cause or deny the application in writing by July 1st. After notice of tax date, the failure to respond shall constitute a denial. So if this abatement wasn't clarified by July 1st, under New Hampshire state law, it was a denial. So it would have had to be reopened as far as I'm concerned. That's one thing. And the other thing that's in this sentence that means a whole lot to me is just cause. We have an assessor that makes a just cause decision, and he's the only one that gets to tell whether or not it's just cause. I have a problem with that, because I know his mother doesn't live in Claremont, but if she did, she could be paying a whole lot less taxes than anybody else, because his just cause is my mother shouldn't be paying taxes. There's got to be a mechanism to research the abatement, find out what was given for reason, so that a determination whether or not just cause fell into play when the abatement was made. It was mentioned that all of this paperwork is public. Can somebody go in and say, I want the full packet for the abatement process? Because they should be able to go in there and find all documentation, and somebody should not be able to go in there and verbally say what they want, and then the assessor say, oh yeah, that's just cause, we're out of here. That's state law, and it can't be overruled by the charter. The other thing that is state law and can't be overruled by the charter, I'm sticking with the Topstone property. You people had your work session. Now I'm talking as I think a member of the public, and maybe a few people here, I see head shaking. Okay. This property was well known to the manager. I don't know about the assessor. I don't know if you watched the council meetings. It was very well known that the council was concerned that this is a brownfield. So all of a sudden it's got a label brownfield, and if you go on the state website, it is labeled a brownfield. There was multiple communications here at the council meeting about this being a brownfield, and then there was some stuff that was kind of ringing true to me. Some of these people were asking good questions on how do we get to the bottom of this. And then, all of a sudden, and I think it was after July 1st, we get this notice, and I'm not sure exactly where it came from, correct me if I'm wrong, but all of the taxes went away. I'm going back to state law and the charter. You mentioned that Section 19A, 7619A, was negated by Section 7616. If the lawmakers wanted that to be negated, it would say repealed there. I was a state rep. I know what happens to laws. So that law is very clear, and I don't think they were unclear about it. Upon application of a person who qualifies as eligible to participate in a brownfield program established under RSA 147F, the governing body, doesn't say the assessor and the manager, it says the governing body of the municipality may make an abatement of prior year's taxes under accrued interest to the applicant as it shall be deemed just and equitable. Governing body, not the assessor. I have a question on the way this was presented as to lowering the value of the property. We lowered the value of the property. Now we can adjust the tax to the amount that we lowered the value of the property. Did we assess the Topstone building for 10 years at zero? In order to lower the taxes to the value of the property, you'd have to assess it at zero for 10 years to make the tax bill go away. Us people in this town are a little bit irritated. We watch city government. It gets us a little irritated, like it looks like things are going on behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden something like this happens and $222,000 goes away. I have a problem with that, and I think there's some people in this room that have a problem with that. Especially under state law, the governing body should have had a say in this. Instead, they were trying to make a statement about it, and then it went away behind my back, and I'm going to give you another chance. Did anybody know this was coming until that day?
I think we've already said,
Okay, so it went away without the governing body. I have a problem with that. This community tries to tell people, speak up about your community. It's a beautiful community. And it is. It's got good things about it. But you don't run a government when you've got people irritated over things like this. This is serious. It's very serious.
that's why we call a special meeting.
And we just barely got to the special meeting, by the way, and we're an hour into it because you had your work session. And you know what? It's good because now you can make decisions on how are we going to hear about this the next time. And maybe it's good that this came up. But I'm concerned about how all that money can go away under even the guidelines that were just given to us, $0 under a lowered assessment. I don't agree with the lowered assessment. I did my own little research about looking at buildings that compare to that building, and we still got that lower. That's the other thing. I'm having trouble with this because I had questions through the whole thing, and now I get up here and you say, okay, now's it's your turn.
Yeah, about 8 minutes.
Maintenance of the building. When the maintenance of the building,
Wait a minute. Are we past 5 minutes?
Yeah.
can we,
Well, I tried to give you the
Wait.
same.
Does the
Would like to
council,
extend, we can do that.
does the council want to extend the time?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
if the maintenance of the building was a reason for lowering the assessment, are we like sending a message to people? Don't maintain your building and all of a sudden your taxes can go down, just file for an abatement? Are we setting a precedence when we lower the assessment on a building because it's got mechanical problems, roof problems, driveway problems, and all that stuff? Are we setting a precedence to get a bunch of other people in here that have older buildings and gracefully they're paying their taxes, but if we made a big change in this building, are we unfair to them if we don't do the same thing for the other people that come in here and ask for an assessment? We've got a problem with that. And I have to assume, I'm sorry I have to assume on something, but I have to assume that the Brownfield is a big part of this assessment lowering. And if it is, it wasn't done legally. I could go on, but I'm a little irritated, and if it doesn't show, I am. I'm going to give other people a chance to talk.